Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all. Subreddit Spectacular.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcasts should have a theme song. Podcasts should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Because I like just going to places around the world on Wander. And
Right.
I went down a very strange rabbit hole that I did not mean to go down. And I wound up in the toilet on the International Space Station. So I know what the bathroom on the ISS looks like now. It's so dumb, but I love it so much.
When you have IBS on the ISS, you'll know where to go.
Exactly. Like, are you still in there, comrade? I assume there's still Russians up there.
Sure.
All right, let's do this.
Pooping in space.
Before we begin today's episode, I'd like to point out to the people of the world, first of all, hello. We never really greet at the beginning of the show anymore.
No.
The people of the world and say thank you for listening to our show.
Did we ever greet the people who listen to the show, or were we always just focused on one another like we're doing a trust exercise in an acting class? Are we doing our Meisner
Hal,
now?
I want you to close your eyes and turn around and fall backwards.
All right, here we go.
I will catch you. Oh, God. I forgot we're doing this socially distanced from across town.
That's my fault. I'm sitting in a chair.
You know what else you're doing is growing your hair long enough for a ponytail, as you just showed me before we started recording.
I hate it so much.
Hal can make a ponytail. You know who you look like with your little baby ponytail in the back?
Every skater in 1990?
My dentist from when I was a kid.
Ew, you had a dentist with a ponytail and you still went?
Yeah. Dr. DeBerry.
Dr. DeBarry's gonna fix your teeth. Get in this chair in this alley. I just found it. Isn't it great? Just like new.
He was our pediatric dentist, which I think is great that a pediatric dentist is like, well, I have to be cool. So what's cool? I know. Earrings and ponytails are cool. Kids like those. So I got a lollipop, a copy of Highlights for Children, and a backup bassist for a cover band.
You got the copy of their demo.
He gives it to you in that little bag that has a toothbrush and a floss in it when you leave.
Yeah. It's all Latter-day Doobie Brothers covers. We're really good, man.
Latter-day Doobie Brothers. That's that Mormon Doobie Brothers group, right?
Yeah. By the way, that you just mentioned the checklist of things that a mother will tell you to avoid when you're out at the mall as a kid. Stay away from guys with ponytails, stay away from guys with earrings, and stay away from dentists. Whatever you do.
For God's sake, stay away from dentists. Sorry if there are any dentists listening.
They'll inject you with a needle and take you out. That was my mother's fear, was that if I went with her to the mall and wandered off too far on my own, that somebody would inject me with a needle and that's how I would be taken, which I'm sure has happened, but not very often. And certainly not a lot in the early 80s.
I freaked my mom out. I may have talked about this on our Halloween candy episode when she was like, I have to check every piece of your Halloween candy because I want to make sure there's no razor blades in it, because my mom believes in urban legends.
Sure.
She's like, I have to check and make sure there's no razor blades in it. And even as a child, I was like, I can poke some holes in this. Literally, because I was like, yeah, well, what if someone injected them? Are you going to really be able to see a needle hole in every piece of candy that I have? Are you checking that closely? And she got frustrated and left the room. I did not mean to scare my mother, but I totally scared my mother for no good reason at the idea of, well, someone could just inject it with a needle. Also, what a dark thought for a little kid.
Mother, they could all be injected.
Oh my
Somebody
God.
could have taken a needle to every single piece, including this bit of honey, Mother.
Oh, yeah. Let me check for razor blades before you eat those. Why, Mom? They all have trans fat in them anyway.
I'd rather it be quick at this point. Halloween is the only time where your parents will be like, don't eat apples. Don't eat those apples. Just throw them away.
Yeah. Eat this Reese's cup.
Yeah. Celery. What murderer gave you this? No, throw it away. Throw it out. Have some bubble gum.
Yeah. That's what the normal families give out. All right. Well, we're not here today to talk about tainted Halloween candy.
Okay.
We are here today. There's something that I say at the end of every episode, which is, and now it comes out at the end. I don't even think about it anymore, really, is there are many more topics to discuss. So please reach out to us on Twitter, check out the Maximum Fun subreddit, and then you go from there.
Sure.
And I realized we have not checked the Maximum Fun subreddit in 4 years. We have done 280 some odd episodes of this show that have aired as of this point right now. And we have not checked the subreddit in 4 years. So today we are going to do a clean slate subreddit spectacular.
You know, sometimes I think we're not as successful as we should be. And then I think about times I haven't checked the email and not having checked the subreddit in a long time. And I'm curious, first of all, this is your first time ever visiting that subreddit, correct?
Yeah. It's my first time ever visiting Reddit outside of just looking like if I need instruction on some digital thing. Okay. It'll be like instructions buried on how to, find a menu that I can't find on a website or something.
Here's my next question for you. How long has it been since anybody has suggested anything in either? I think there are 2 threads. How long has it been?
The thread I went to was 2, which leads me to believe it was the later of the threads. Okay. And that thread has been closed for 4 years.
So you pried it open with a crowbar and it went.
I pried it open. Well, no, you can't add anything to it, but you can still read it.
I see.
So I read it. And I've got a list of some pretty fun stuff on here for us.
Okay.
Some of them you pointed out when I sent you the list. You're like, yeah, we already did that. I don't know.
That's fine. It's hard to remember. So I look at it and it jumps out, but there are other times where I will think of an idea or I will see something suggested and I'm not sure. And even though I keep a pretty detailed list of what we've done and what we haven't, I don't go check that every time. Those stuck out. One of them I know we did in New York.
Right.
Yes.
So if I mention one of these that we've done, you'll be like, we already did that.
I will say it and I will try to remember when.
And I apologize. I did not write down any of the names of anybody that suggested these. I was going to ask that.
You didn't get any of the names.
No. Should I go? We'll go back through later and do that.
You know what?
I'll say that now and no, we won't.
The internet is a bastion of anonymity. Nobody really knows who anybody else is.
Yeah.
And isn't it better
it's
that way?
like, what does it really matter? Frogger9 wants to know.
Yeah.
Now, we usually get people's full names on there, but I apologize that I didn't on this.
Do you know how many people out there claim to be the person who invented the slanket or snuggie? This is the same. You put out a topic and anybody can say, oh, that was my topic. And they're not wrong. They're Schrodinger's right.
Yeah.
Schrodinger's topic. These are all Schrodinger's topics. They're both yours and not yours.
Yep. They are dead in a box. Here we go. Let's start easy.
Okay.
Heads or tails?
There's something fun about the heads of coins all around the world, particularly in the U.S. Those are the coins I'm most familiar with.
I think, this will be mostly a U.S. We're a U.S.-based show.
It's neat to have figures from American history on the fronts of coins, but when they came out with the collector's quarters a couple of years ago, where each of the 50 states got their own special quarter, they put the special stuff on the back.
Yeah.
That feels like the back is like on the quarter, you get the eagle, you get Monticello on the back of the nickel.
Yeah.
The dime's got
memorial on the back of the penny. It's the front of a coin. You always know what it's going to be. It doesn't change. It's a profile view of one of our presidents, and it does not change at all. There are quarters I have never seen. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing that's been, I tried to collect all 50 of them.
Sure you did.
I quit because it was hard, and I quit things that are difficult. I mean, yeah, just look at the free weights in the corner of my apartment. But there's something wonderful about the back of a coin because, you can tell an old penny because it's got the 2 laurel torch kind of things on it. You've got all of the different state quarters, and then they did a national park series, and then like a Great Americans from each different region series. Like, it's one of those wonderful things. My introduction to that being the bicentennial quarter as a kid. Because you always would get the quarter that looked the same on the back, and then every once in a while there was one. They're like, "Oh, this is the cool bicentennial one. That was the first. Mm-hmm. That was the first coin I remember being an outlier. And so it was really exciting to get those. And that excitement, I think, bled over into all the different things that they're doing with them now. So I think this one's an easy one.
Yeah. The tail side of a coin feels like a blank slate.
Yeah.
In a good way. It's an open canvas. You can do whatever you want. I will say, if you ask me to call it in the air, I'll probably say heads most of the time. And I don't know why. I understand statistically there's a negligible difference between the chance it'll land one side or the other. I think there is like a 0.001% chance in favor of one side or the other. And I don't even remember where the advantage lies. But for some reason, I always say heads on a tail flip.
It's funny. I always say tails. So that's good. We should start settling these with a coin flip when you and I can't agree.
Yeah. So you don't hear heads. Damn it.
Yeah. I'm surprised that this feels such like an elementary binary for us. I'm surprised we haven't done this one yet.
I know. Well, if we have, neither of us remember, so it didn't count.
Yeah. But it's tails. Asked
and answered
by someone and answered.
Thank you, mystery asker, whoever you are.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to do next? I sent you the list. You've got it in front of you.
I don't. I'm purposefully flying blind because I have a tendency on these to start looking at different screens, but I've made this full screen. I'm here engaged with you.
It's just my face on the entirety of your screen.
Well, me too. I like to look at my.
Yeah, I covered my face with the list.
Horrific hair. Every day I check to see if there's a work meeting, so I know whether or not I have to shower.
Dude, that's where we are. Your hair is epic.
It's so bad.
It's so long.
I mean, here, I can. There you go. I'll really get it out. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh, I look like
fantastic.
A Vincent Schiavelli character. This is
Vincent Schiavelli is a Vincent Schiavelli character.
That's true. He is his own character.
God rest his soul. Did I ever tell you about the crazy night I had with that guy?
No.
I just moved to LA and I was with some friends and we went to the Formosa Cafe and we're sitting there at the cafe and Vincent Schiavelli is in there. It was one of my first celebrity sightings in LA. And he was by himself. And because we were absolutely shameless kids that had just gotten to Hollywood, we were all like, dude, you're Vincent Schiavelli. We're big fans. You're awesome. And then repeated his resume back to him. And he enjoyed that, came over, sat down with us, and we had a couple of drinks with Vincent Schiavelli, who was a very, very nice man. And he told us all about his affinity for pipe tobacco. I just remember he wanted to talk about pipes. And we were like, all right, let's talk about pipes with Vincent Schiavelli. Which, by the way, is, if he had not sadly passed away, that would probably be a Twitch stream I'd watch.
Yeah.
Talking pipes with Vincent Schiavelli. Let's keep it. Okay. Since I have the list in front of me, let's keep it with money right now. It's another good, money question.
Money.
Yeah. And the way you said that was so ominous.
Yeah. Money.
Let's take a look at when you're getting your change at a store. Do you like to be given the coins first or the bills first? And this was surprising that there was actually a Reddit debate about whether it's better to get your coins first or your bills first. First of all, let me say this. In the middle of the global pandemic we're all in the middle of right now, I don't want anybody handing me money that's been passed around by a million hands. I will hand sanitize, I will use my card, and then I will hand sanitize again.
Yep.
But before that era began, when you get your change, how do you like to get your change, Hal?
Mark, you have not worked retail specifically.
No.
You've worked service.
I've worked a lot of restaurants.
So I've worked retail, and I learned there to go dollar bills first.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because you're generally, if somebody breaks 100, you do the 20, 40, 60, 80, and then you count the smaller bills, and then you get the change. What that also does is you put the bills down in the hand first, and then that acts as sort of a dish to hold the change.
That's what I always thought. I mean, I guess for the counting back of the money, because I was taught, something is $6.25. You count back the coins first. So if you gave me a 10, I would count back the coins first. So 625, 650, 675, $7, and then give you 3 ones. 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that you can do that verbal count back. But yeah, I think using the coins as a paperweight and the bills as a dish, it's a nice symbiotic relationship between the two.
Yeah, you're by and large going to see anybody who deals with a cash register do bills first and then do the coins second. And the move for me putting them away is I will have my wallet. I'll either put it down on the counter or I'll just put it in my pocket. I'll tilt the coins into one hand, put them in the pocket, then the bills go in the wallet, and then I'm on my way.
Can I tell you a thing that I know it shouldn't drive me crazy because they are technically right, but if something costs like, $10.03, right? And I hand them a 20 and my brain goes, don't reach in the change drawer. Don't reach in the change drawer. Please don't reach in the change drawer. And then they reach in the change drawer and I'm like, man, it's 3 cents. Somebody's going to be like, yeah, keep the pennies later on in the day. Don't hand me $9.97. Come on, man.
That's somebody's business, Mark. Do you know how Richard Pryor stole all that money in Superman 3? Fractions of a cent.
Fractions of a cent. Yeah.
It adds up.
Well, there was another movie where they did that too. Office Space. That was
They did an Office Space also.
Yeah.
Is it worse when something is $10.03 and you have $20 that you hand over and then you reach in for change and all you have is a nickel? So all of a sudden one coin is about to become 2 more coins.
Now
and they don't have the dish.
Yeah. Now my pocket with 1 coin now has 2 coins in it, and they are significantly worse coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're less valuable. They're not as pretty. They feel weird.
Could you imagine having this conversation in like 1899 when you could actually get a sandwich for nickel or a dime? Like, what are these idiots talking about? I'll take that change. You're just throwing money on the ground.
That's a week's worth of meals. I work a 900-hour week at a coal mine.
Oh, man. Oh, too soon. Too soon.
You're right. I apologize.
How many hours are there in a week?
In a work week, there are 40 hours.
40 in a work week. No, I know that. I was trying
168.
to figure out 168. I was trying to figure out how many hours in a week are work hours. That's not bad. That's only 25% of the week is work
right.
week.
Then another 40 hours of sleep if you're getting the normal amount of sleep.
Yeah, I don't do that.
And if you're commuting, you can add another hour onto that. So that's, for a normal person, it's 9 hours out of a 24-hour day. They're out.
Yeah. All right. Look, this is
sorry. That's what's way more than that. It's 17. For goodness sakes, you get 7 hours to yourself. You get a little time for breakfast. You get some time in the evening, and then you go to bed. You wake up and do it all over again. Now it's different. We're in a whole new world now.
Nobody knows what to do with themselves. I figured out how to do a Rubik's Cube. I finished 2 puzzles, and I don't even like puzzles.
I redid we've redone our bedroom. We moved our bed over. I got Snoopy sheets.
You what?
Well, people may remember somewhat recently we did Worst Easter Candy with Stephanie DeBruzzo. She told us about VermontCountryStore.com, which is an actual Vermont country store. And I went there initially looking for they have like old candies, and I like to have I just like to have stuff around to snack on, and I wanted to see what they had. But it's so much more than that because it is clothing and tablecloths, and it feels like an upscale Cracker Barrel general store. But they have they have an exclusive license. I know it's not saying much. They're baby steps. They have an exclusive license with Peanuts, and they had sheets that were for
the cartoon Peanuts.
The cartoon, yes, the Peanuts gang, Charlie Brown and the Peanuts gang. And they had sheets that were not just for twin beds for kids, but all the way up to a king bed for adults. And so I went to Jennifer afterward. I was looking at it. I was like, these are somewhat expensive, but wouldn't they be fun to have? And we're not spending as much money right now. Like this is a splurge. But I thought I have to catch her in the right mood as I would anybody. It's not specific to her.
Now, yeah.
You're either going to want peanut sheets in a moment or you're not. But when I showed them to her, she was like, that sounds fun. Let's get them.
Great. Oh, she's a good one.
They're so nice.
Are they the backup sheets or are they the primary?
They're on the bed right now.
They are. Also, question, why do they make children's sheets in king size? Just for people like you? Or are there kids out there that have a king size bed? Because if you're a little kid, having a king size bed is that's just like having a room with mattress on the floor. That is proportionally, you could run laps on that.
A very rich kid may have one, but peanuts are for everybody. It's not like they're brand new, and they appeal to adults as well as children. and the children inside all of us.
I love it. I'm not against it.
Okay, good.
I'm on board for the Peanuts sheets.
Thank you.
I just think, I just think it's fun to think about the person in a boardroom when they're like, okay, so we're going to make these, Snoopy sheets for kids, and someone raising their hand and going, with all due respect, ma'am, why stop there?
Do I look like a child to you? Is that what I am? I'm an adult.
Hal, we know you're an adult, and also your Snoopy hoodie that you can zip all the way up and then look like Snoopy looks great, but you are in a boardroom.
I put it on and I go, and then I run out of the room.
But yes, it is coins first. Asked by someone.
Bills first.
Bills first.
Coins.
Sorry, yeah, Bills first, and then coins on top is what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Asked by someone and answered. Okay, here's one that I think will be fun. Yeah. Someone asks, when you go to see a movie in the theater that offers both, do you watch the 2D or the 3D version?
This has been on the list for a while.
Well, 2D versus 3D animation has been on the list for a while.
That's true. I have strong feelings about this. Mm-hmm. I know our producer Ken, who is not here and thus cannot ring in. He loves 3D. He loves like the experience.
Well, I will be on Team Ken then, because I love a 3D experience.
There are very few times I've seen a movie in 3D where I felt like it made it significantly better in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. What movies are on that list?
I thought Thor, the original Thor, was really good in 3D. Mm-hmm. Captain America Civil War was okay for me. It just didn't add, they don't film it for 3D. It just adds more depth. And I feel like it is an imperfect technology right now. And so I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy it as much. I find like 2D to be just fine. I don't have to deal with whether it's the electronic glasses where you push them up and then for a second the sensor's covered and everything goes 2D. Like there are more opportunities also for it to go awry. Or I've had ones that weren't charged and have to go get new ones. And the reward behind that of if everything works, and that's the risk of it. The reward to me isn't great enough that I go, but I'm going to risk it anyway. I will go see, like for a big opening for a Marvel movie, I'll go see a 2D and then 3D back to back.
Do they film the Marvel movies in 3D and then release them in 2D? Because that's a thing that I remember the first movie I saw that had been sort of up converted was the first Tim Burton Alice in Wonderland movie.
Okay.
And that was the first one where they were like, we're doing this technology where it wasn't shot in 3D, but we're making it 3D. And that to me, I don't like as much. I agree with you on that. The return is not worth the downsides of feeling like you are wearing sunglasses in a movie. So everything's a little dark.
Yeah.
And also that version of it feels like flat planes rather than actual 3D, almost like a Viewmaster slide.
Right, or like the sets of a school play where you're like, those aren't real trees and bushes. Those are flat set at different levels to give the illusion of three-dimensional depth.
But I think something that's shot in 3D to be a 3D movie is exceptionally fun. I don't know if they shot it for 3D and then down converted it, or if they shot it in 2D and up converted it, but boy, was Doctor Strange in 3D beautiful.
Yes. That was another very good one. That was another very, very good one.
But yeah, I as much as I love 3D, I think that you're right. I think because the question was specifically asked if the two versions are available, a 2D and a 3D version. I think that happens more often than not for something that was shot in 2D and then up converted rather than a movie that was like Jaws 3D, but you're going to see it in 2D at the movie theater.
Now that I think is a great experience. There is a 1976 movie called Ape. And it is a South Korean ripoff of King Kong, because King Kong was being remade at the time with
Jessica Lange
and Jeff Bridges. This movie stars a young Joanna Kearns as the hero.
Kearns. Why do I know Joanna Kearns?
She's from Growing Pains. She's the mother on Growing Pains.
Oh, yes. Gotcha.
Most famously. The giant ape is clearly a guy a guy who uses the same suit that is later given to Jim Belushi in Trading Places. Like the fakest looking. You can see t-shirt, you can see neck, you can see holes in the armpits. It moves with this weird, like loping, Like the arms are doing this weird swaying thing, but it was filmed to be in 3D. It's super cheap. And the way you can tell is sometimes the ape, when he's fighting the military helicopters, will throw boulders, but the boulder will come right at the camera, but the boulder clearly has a ring on the top of it and is on a line coming towards the camera. They didn't have the money to hide it, or just didn't care. Like, people will be so wowed that this ape is throwing a boulder at them that they won't possibly notice that it's just swinging on a piece of string.
Right.
So that
I kind of want to see this now.
Oh, it's so good. Next time we're in the same room, I have it on DVD. We'll watch it.
I remember when I was a kid, they put the one that gives me the biggest headache. They're also here's a fun sub question for you, and I think there's probably a correct answer. Is what kind of headset do you like the best? There is the red and blue, which made me think of it because this movie, they played Hondo, an old John Wayne movie, on TV in 3D. And you would get your 3D glasses in the Knoxville newspaper. And then you would watch the movie that night on television. And man, that was the most exciting because it felt like we had a movie theater at home as a kid.
Yeah.
But the red blue is terrible. Polarized is a little better.
The real D.
The black, where they're black and white, where they're black.
And yeah, you can put, they look like cheap sunglasses.
They look like sunglasses.
You can put them over your glasses. Yeah.
Yeah. But that is a version of 3D where there are vertical lines on one eye and horizontal lines on another eye. So if you take two pairs of polarized 3D glasses and stack them on top of each other, left eye to right eye, it will be totally black.
Wow.
It uses concepts of vertical and horizontal to differentiate the two feeds. The newer version that I love, there's also the IMAX version where it's like a digital headset that actually is triggering rapid fire back and forth between a signal going back to either one of your eyes. That version is amazing and super high tech. There's also polarized radial 3D where they have somehow figured out, instead of making it the up and down or side to side lines, they're in a spiral pattern, which means if you tilt your head, you don't have to keep your head perfectly straight for the movie to remain in 3D. That always annoyed me when I would tilt my head sideways and suddenly the movie's blurry.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the other thing, is that you have to watch it a very specific way. You can't turn your head too much. You can't look too high or too low, or else the illusion, it's too easy. The illusion feels very fragile. I do think we'll get to a point where it's better. Maybe it'll be some version of like the Jaws 4D from Back to the Future 2, where it's a hologram.
Just a giant hologram. I'll tell you, the Oculus Quest movie theater, you can watch movies in 3D on there. There's no dimming from wearing the sunglasses. There's no tilting your head a certain way because the Oculus is in 3D already. You don't have to have special glasses. That version, fantastic.
Can I tell you a dirty little secret about me and the Oculus? You're talking about big screen.
Big screen, yeah.
On the Oculus. I went and checked it out. Finally got it to work. It was acting weird. Where it kept
it was in beta for like 2 years.
So I finally went. I was like, all right, I'm going to rent a movie. I'm going to rent something I've already seen, but I'm going to watch it in 3D, which I'd seen, and I chose Jackass 3D. Was rent it for $5. So I rented it. I watched the trailer. It's very cool. They sit you in a movie theater, so when you're looking around,
yeah, you're in a theater. It's amazing.
It's very, very cool. And then you get like 48 hours to watch it. And I never came back to watch it. It was $5 I wasted.
Well, I mean, look, it's an ask because you're going to be wearing this big bulky thing on your head.
I just
for 2 hours.
But I want to do it. I want to try that experience because that feels like you won't have any of the issues you'd normally have. This may be a way to watch 3D movies that I can get behind.
It's great. I watched Hugo on there, the Georges Méliès, Martin Scorsese movie, and it is so much fun. Because it's a movie about the beginnings of cinema and the magic of the beginnings of cinema. And here I am watching it in my very own grand palatial virtual reality theater. You know what I mean? It just, it felt like it was coming full circle.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. But I think in general, it's the 2D version of a movie. There's nothing on your head. It's not extra dim. You don't get a headache. A lot of people get headaches from the things.
Check back in 5 years. Maybe it'll change.
Yeah. Next time we check the subreddit.
Yeah. Asked and answered.
Asked and answered. All right.
We're never checking that subreddit again.
We're never checking the subreddit again.
Should we drop it from the end of this episode? Should we officially retire the Maximum Fun subreddit?
Should we? Oh,
Is that the only way to end this spectacular, by saying we're not active there anymore? So now there are only 3 ways to get us.
Yeah.
Look,
this is a big deal for us. I'm down to do it though. I know.
I didn't even realize it. Yeah. This is the retirement party for the Maximum Fun subreddit as it relates to We Got This. I know it's very active for everything else.
Oh yeah. Jordan Jesse Go. Jordan is hilarious on there and posts fun things. And
yes,
as I just saw today. So yeah, we'll retire it at the end.
Okay.
That'll be our last of maybe we'll retire. That'll be the last of our Clean Slate topics.
Will we? Now it's a mystery.
Now it's up in the air. Let's move from motion pictures to one of our favorite topics, and that is food. Let's see. Julian Assange on the subreddit.
No, that's not. That can't be.
What?
We said no names. We said it's probably better to say no names. Let's say no names.
Oh, okay.
Do you really need your emails dumped out there?
Taco or burrito?
Oh.
This is hard because there's one that is clearly way easier and there is one that offers more. If I could have tortilla chips inside a burrito, that's the winner because it's the thing you lose by having a burrito is the crunch of a taco.
Although you can get a soft shell taco.
Yeah, but
at that point it's just a mini burrito.
Yeah. It's just a burrito that has
burrito.
Yeah, it's a burrito that everything falls out of.
Or an uncooked taquito.
Yeah.
Even though that's not true either, because that's basically like 2 things inside of it. Oh boy. My brain says burrito because of the amount of stuff you can put in it. And for me, like if it's generally we had a Freebirds out here. Do you know Freebirds?
That's the song that you hold up your lighter to, right?
That's right. And then a burrito descends from the clouds.
Ooh, I like that.
Freebirds is a place. I think that they started up Northern California as like a college area, and they make gigantic burritos. That's their whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you go and you fill it. And I would always fill it with the same things. Give me Spanish rice. Give me whatever combination of meats. Give me queso. Give me tomatoes. And I'm home. That's it. I don't want anything else in there.
No beans?
But
no lettuce? No sour cream?
No lettuce, no sour cream. I'll do lettuce in a taco. I'm not a huge sour cream guy. So I'm such a basic bee about this kind of stuff that like I like a burrito just because of I like how much of it there is. It feels like a big full meal, which I really like. But tacos, it feels like I can either have like 3 tacos or I can have a burrito.
That's a good point because with tacos, you can also get a variety of them. If you have a burrito, the whole thing tastes like a burrito. If you are getting tacos from you can get a flight from a lot of places. I guess I was thinking, fast food Taco Bell was the first thing that popped in my head, which is really the same 6 or 7 ingredients just rearranged into assorted things. But yeah, like a place that'll do like Trejo's does, you can get a fish taco, a vegan avocado, a vegan fried avocado taco, and a shredded chicken taco. You know what I mean? Like there's that fun playing around with all and there is more variety to the taco. You can get the hard shell, you get the soft shell, like you said, you get the Mexican street tacos, which is 2 little corn tortillas stacked on top of each other, not crisp, but warmed up with, cilantro and pico de gallo and a protein on it. Yeah. Does the variety and the nuance that you can get with a taco, does that trump the absolute convenience of a burrito? Like burrito is so convenient that now that's how I eat my breakfast is in burrito form.
I think the argument we're trying to make here that you can order a bunch of tacos and they're all different is really more of a vote for the burrito than it is for the taco. Because we're saying it takes a variety of smaller tacos to equal how great a burrito is. What's great about it is it's the whole meal wrapped up. You get everything together. Every bite, you get a little bit of everything. If you get Chipotle, which I love, and you get it loaded with like the peppers and onions and everything, then some bites are a little heavier on some things than others. And even down to the very last bite, it's just enjoyable. And yeah, I just think I just like burritos better, although I love them. But I hate that they're fighting.
I know. I don't want them to fight.
Yeah, nobody wanted this.
Because frequently, I'm not going to lie, I'll order both.
Sure.
I'll get a little burrito and a couple of tacos. But like, I think that the thing that the taco has going for it, aside from the fact that you can get variety in a sit-in-one meal, is the variety within itself. There's a textural variety, you know, that I think is harder to get in a burrito, because when everything is steaming inside a tortilla, you lose a bit of the texture to it. And I think texture is a really important part of it, which is why I said before, if you can, you know, put corn chips in a burrito, but even like, you know, shredded lettuce or something for me, I need something that is going to give it a crunch.
What happens the first time you crunch into your taco? Inevitably.
Oh, it goes everywhere. There's no eating a taco in the car.
You lose a bunch of the taco. You lose a bunch of the taco. The burrito.
Do you know this trick, by the way?
What?
For maintaining taco integrity?
No.
Shredded cheese on the bottom of the taco shell.
Oh, so it doesn't get soggy.
Well, no, so it doesn't break. Also, it won't get soggy, but yeah, but if you bite it, some tacos you bite into it, the whole thing just snaps in half.
The cheese keeps it from snapping in half?
The cheese keeps it from snapping in half.
How?
It's like a layer of glue on the bottom. Cheese glue.
That doesn't feel right. This feels like something you made up.
No, try it. Trust me. Cheese on the bottom.
Oh, I'll try it.
Yeah, you do that.
I will. Man.
Yeah, this is tough. I love them both.
I think
there is, but in LA, I am frequently eating in the car.
Yeah.
And there is absolutely no eating tacos in the car.
But the question is not what is the best thing to eat in the car.
That's true. It's just taco or burrito.
Just in general, wherever you are, you're going to be able to eat more of your burrito than your taco. You're going to have to wind up scraping it up. So you get the full eating experience of the burrito more likely, unless you overload it so much that you take a bite and it explodes. That can happen too.
Sure.
But there's something fun about like the peeling back a little. I don't even do the peeling back. I like to just hold the whole thing and eat it like I don't need a governor on how I eat the burrito.
Hang on a second. You just eat it willy-nilly like assorted spots?
Well, I don't eat. No,
like, now I'm going to take a bite out of this end. Now I'm going to get a bite out of this end. Big old hunk from the side.
I go top down.
Big old hunk from the other side like it's an apple.
Look, ultimately, I'm afraid I'm going to bite into the aluminum foil. So I just get rid of it. I'm like, I don't need this. It'll be fine. If it's a little messy, it's okay. Tacos are the same thing. Although tacos, my thing is I hold it from the back so that my finger is protecting it from everything. And also like you can get bites of a taco. If you start from you always have to start from the bottom, but eventually it gets to a place where it's too wide and you either have to double bite or you just start at the top, in which case you're not getting the filling. So you can have unsatisfactory bites of a taco. I feel like a burrito, because it steams and because it's all mixed together, every bite has pretty much everything until you get to the very, very end. And even then you get all the juices and stuff.
Yeah. I think that it is ultimately going to be the burrito because it's got a lot going for it. I think that the burrito for me, I need some sort of crunch in there. Even if it's like a corn and bean medley that some places will put in there, just something to give something a little toothsome in it.
Sure.
No, it's not. So it doesn't feel like I'm eating mashed potatoes wrapped in a soft tortilla.
And also breakfast burrito is way better than a breakfast taco.
That's 100% true.
And you can put crispy bacon in there and you get your crunch.
Exactly. I go to my same breakfast burrito place. I make myself a breakfast taco every morning for breakfast though.
You've taken me to your breakfast burrito place. It's very good. I've had a breakfast burrito there. I loved it.
I frequently also will fool myself when I'm eating a burrito because what I will do is I'll ask for it to be cut in half. And then I will wrap up half of the burrito and put it in the bag so it's not going to spill or go anywhere. Sure. And then I will eat the half of the burrito that I'm going to have for lunch. And then I will immediately open the bag and eat the half of the burrito that I was going to have for dinner.
Sure. But you have the option at least. Like the burrito is a full, like that's the servings. You're eating the whole burrito. You can save it.
That's the thing. That is another bonus for the burrito is that you can't really save half a taco if you get full.
That's true.
You know,
I mean, you can blend it, put it in a blender.
Are you a fan of the wet burrito?
Yes. There's a place out here. I cannot remember the name of it. Allen B's, I think, is the name of it.
For those who don't know, the wet burrito is a burrito slathered in enchilada sauce. Yeah, impossible to eat in the car, but oh man, are those good.
Somebody had told me about it because it had won some like food websites best burrito in the country or it was a finalist. So Jennifer and I went sometime last year and got it. and it's like a stand. It's kind of downtown. It's like not a place where you necessarily want to just sit there and eat it, but we got it and sat at a table. We were there early when it opened, and it was so good. It was my first time really having a wet burrito, and I absolutely loved it. You just
made it all over. You know what I mean?
I'm sure it's available in other places, but the burrito has won over the taco, everybody. I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry, Julian, if you were a taco fan.
Don't stop bringing his name up. Why would you do it? Why would you keep bringing his name up? Nothing good comes of that. Nothing good. Mr.
I just think of anonymous internet person, and that's the only name that pops into my head, even though he is clearly not anonymous.
I think it was Alan Smithy. Asked and answered.
Alan Smithy. Asked and answered. Okay, here's how I want to do the next one. I want you and I each to think of a contender and think of ourselves as their corner man. We're going to put each of our contenders in the ring, and we're going to see who wins. And the contender that we are looking for is the contender for grossest vegetable. So take a second, think about it. I've got mine. I know who I'm bringing into the ring.
Ugh. There's so many vegetables I just don't like. I feel like I'm going to lose this one, but I've got one.
You got one?
Yeah.
All right. I'll give you, you want to give me mine first or you want to go?
I want to hear yours.
In the first corner, weighing in at, I don't know, like an ounce. They're tiny. They're gross. They are somehow both hairy and slimy. And that is, of course, the tiny little vegetable of my homeland, okra.
Wow.
The grossest, in my opinion, the grossest vegetable.
Wow. In the other corner, from parts unknown, in the dirt, it's the grossest vegetable. No cap. It's the mushroom.
Oh, come on.
They have a weird texture, and then as soon as you cook them up, they get slimy, and they smell horrific, and you can't get that smell out of anything. As much as you want it to be gone, it's not, and it just sort of invades in this stinky, gross.
Look, everything you're describing about mushrooms is exactly what I feel about okra. But I think that mushrooms, you can mitigate that with mushrooms. It's a lot harder to mitigate.
Is that how you do it? Is that how you mitigate it?
There's a million different delicious versions of mushrooms. For vegetarians, they're a source of umami and protein, and they fill out a burger. I'm team pro mushroom, and I'm team very anti okra.
I have no feelings about okra one way or the other. My wife loves it. That's all I know.
Yeah. I feel like you have to work so much harder to make okra good. There's a reason they put it in the chopped baskets to stump people.
See how you do with this, jerk.
Yeah, and then people cook it, and they're like, nope, it's gross and hairy and slimy still. Like, take everything you don't like about mushrooms and add hairy.
I didn't realize okra was hairy.
Yeah, they're like, they have like
Celia?
A couple of days growth of not shaving.
Ugh.
So they're stubbly. Yeah, they're...
Pass.
Yeah. Mushrooms, I will give you this. The underside of a mushroom, all those little ribs, that's a weird texture.
Oh my god! And then you put it, and then it like and sometimes like when you have like a casserole and it's made with cream and mushroom soup, and you get a little like you're eating like, oh, this is so good. I love this. I love all the things in this, and then you get a little taste of a little slimy mushroom chip works its way into your mouth, and it just ruins the whole bite.
Well, but wait a minute.
You just want to take it out of your mouth.
But you were talking about how terrible the flavor of mushrooms is, but you'll eat something that's made with cream of mushroom soup?
Yeah, the flavoring of it, but it's really the soup. I don't think it has anything to do with the mushroom. If you use cream of chicken soup, I'd be a lot happier. Or cream of corn, or cream of tomato. Let's get crazy.
What my mom used, and I know we talked about this on one of our Thanksgiving episodes. I did not eat mushrooms until I was almost drinking age.
So 14.
I walked right into that one. I didn't eat mushrooms until I was 20 or 21. Right. And it was because my mother hated them. And she never put them on anything. She still hates them. She will avoid them at all costs. And look, I get it. Everybody has foods that they don't like. You are clearly in the same camp with my mother in not liking mushrooms. But I totally forgot where this story was going.
Because the mushrooms are getting to your brain now. They're sliming their way in there.
I got sidetracked by you making fun of me.
It's a fungus.
Beer.
It's a fungus that we eat. And why?
Because they're good for you. They're delicious.
No, a lot of things are good for you.
I know where I was going. I know I've talked about this in our Thanksgiving episode. So the classic green bean casserole with the French's crispy onions on top and the cream of mushroom soup. My mom does not do it with cream of mushroom soup because if you're in the South, you can get away with things like this. She's like, nope, I'm getting cheddar cheese soup, which is also in that same aisle with the soups, but really should be pumped out of a spigot at a ballpark onto chips.
Sure.
So my entire growing up, I was like, this green bean casserole is amazing. And then I had someone else's and I was like, this does not taste like ballpark nachos.
Oh, what are these gross little slimy bits that are in there?
Yeah. Oh, I'm spitting these out.
Somebody chop up a bat and put it in this casserole and now I'm eating bits of it.
Yeah. I'll say this though. Have you had your fun with your hate fest on mushrooms, Hal?
I don't think
they can beat okra as grossest.
I feel like there's a grosser one, but neither of us are thinking of it.
Squash can be super gross if you cook it wrong. It's anything that turns slimy when you cook it wrong.
Yeah, but I like a softer veg. I don't like it to be super crispy and have a bite to. I like to put it in like a stew or like a chili type of setting. That is something I will do. And then I love the way it turns out because it's kind of soft, but I still get a little bit of the flavor of it. And I enjoy it. Like the flavor of it's good. To me, there's nothing about mushrooms I like. I don't like the flavor. I don't like the smell. And I don't like the way they look at me.
Is that why you stomp on them so feverishly every time you play Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, I refuse to grow when I play Super Mario Brothers. I will actively run away from that thing. The flower's fine. I like the star, obviously. Who doesn't?
Yeah, but you can't get the star until you eat the mushroom, Hal.
No.
Yeah, so you have to eat your mushroom if you're going to get your raccoon wings. Or I guess it's not wings, it's the tail that makes you fly.
It's the tail, yeah.
Yeah, you got to have the mushroom.
Before you pull big radishes from the ground?
Yeah. Before you put on your frog suit and go underwater. How many more costumes did Mario have? Mario was cosplaying before it was cool.
Yeah, he really was has a full closet of different clothing. Like, don't you ever just
and they do things like, well, I'll wear this if I want to fly. I'll wear this if I want to shoot fireballs. I'll wear this if I want to breathe underwater. It's amazing. He was the original Iron Man.
Luigi just gets hand-me-downs.
Oh, poor Luigi, but he could jump higher.
That's true. He can, and he's faster.
To the people of the world who want a mushroom tip that I learned is if you find them slimy and are not a mushroom fan for that specific reason, dry fry them in a pan with a little salt first. It draws out all the moisture. Then put the butter or oil or whatever in and then fry them from there.
I think it's real chewy. Chewy mushroom.
Come on though, man. Okra. When was the last time you had okra and it aided a dish? Like I look at a dish and I see okra and I'm like, well, that's ruined.
It's its own thing. Sometimes I had it like in soup
okra
before and it's okay.
Thing is
fried okra.
Is the last thing I want to touch on a plate. Oh, look, fried okra is nearly impossible to perfect. Fried okra is usually like a crappy onion ring because what it does is you look at this delicious little breaded thing. It almost looks like a little, like it's deceiving too. It looks like a fried jalapeno popper. And you're like, ooh, this is going to be amazing. Get the little green stem on the top. It's about the same size. And then what happens when you bite into it is you get an entire shell of fry dough just falls right off. And then what you're left with is a green version of, you ever seen a dog when they get excited and they have the lipstick? That's what okra is to me, is it's the dog lipstick.
Are you here to say that the shell of fried okra is just a Trojan horse for a dog penis? Is that what you're here to say on this podcast?
I am. I will see your mushrooms don't smell good and raise you on okra is tiny dog penises.
I can't argue with that. It's okra. Asked and answered. I can't. This is the Subreddit Spectacular. You can't top that. Let's take a break.
All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we will close this out with a couple more. But in the meantime, hear about some of the wonderful shows on the Maximum Fun Network.
Hi, my name is Graham Clark, and I'm one half of the podcast Stop Podcasting Yourself, a show that we've recorded for many, many years. And at the moment, instead of being in person, we're recording remotely, and you wouldn't even notice. You don't even notice the lag.
That's right, Graham. And the great thing about this... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
And you can listen to us every week on MaximumFun.org.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
Strange planets, curious technology, and a fantastic vision of the distant future. Featuring Martin Starr.
So we're going on day 14. Shuttle still hasn't come.
Aparna Nancherla.
The security system provides you with emotional security. You do the rest.
Echo Kellum.
Can you disconnect me or not?
Hurry Kondabolu.
I'm staying.
From Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Jeffrey McGivern.
Could you play Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun?
It's The Outer Reach. Stories from Beyond.
Now available for free at MaximumFun.org or anywhere you listen.
All right, Mark, what else you got? Do we have
all
more?
Right.
Did we do all of them?
I'm trying to see what else I have on here that we haven't done already. One of these that's on here was requested by a couple of different people, but I'm reluctant to ask it because it feels like dangerous turf and insulting to an entire nation, regardless of which way we go.
I'll tell you what, say what it is, and then if we decide not to do it, we'll bleep it out.
Okay. Or
yeah, we're not going to do that.
Okay. It's though.
Bleep that too, Ken.
Yeah.
And you're right.
All right. Let's do one more and then we'll finish with our...
the ultimate topic. Should we continue to use Reddit?
Let's do one more and then we will close out with the ultimate subreddit.
Yes.
Spectacular topic. And I'm going to go with, I'll let you pick. We have belt or suspenders and button or zip fly.
Give me button or zip fly, Alex.
All right. Button or zip fly?
A zip fly. Why would the button flies, when those came out, they really worked hard to make button flies a big thing.
Yeah.
And they're so much, like, imagine how you fumble to put a shirt on, but then make it your pants. Make it denim, which is much less forgiving, and rivets.
I feel like the zipper was a perfect invention. It did its job and still continues to do its job absolutely perfectly. And button fly pants, they're just, hey, you know that perfect invention you have? Why don't we get rid of that? The button fly to me is the equivalent of a washboard. You know what I mean? That's like saying washboard or laundry machine. They invented the laundry machine, man.
Laundry machine?
Yeah.
It's got the hand crank.
Grandpa here just called it a laundry machine.
I put my long johns and my dungarees in the laundry machine and they come out sparkling clean.
I've been reading the 1905 Sears Roebuck catalog, so I have different names for all kinds of things.
You do have it pasted to your walls.
I do. I have a whole wall that is just pages from the 1905 Sears Roebuck catalog, including the brand new talking machine, which is one of my favorites. I have found some gems in that. One of them was new fiction, now in paperback, The Call of the Wild by Jack London. I was like, oh, that is wild, dude. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's bizarre. Did you have button fly jeans?
I did. I've had a few, and I actually think I still have a pair of button fly jeans.
Really?
Yeah, and I didn't get them because of that. That is definitely a downside. And I was like, I really like these jeans. Now they're button fly. Well, I guess I'll get them anyway, even though there are myriad reasons why someone would need to remove their pants quickly in a situation. You ever really, really, really had to pee and you go in the bathroom and forget that you're wearing the button fly jeans? And you're like, oh man.
Yeah, it is a gateway to an accident. And also, I would rather have my pants sealed with a bunch of little padlocks and carry around a prison guard's ring of keys to try and open it than have a button fly. Because at least then it's
you don't even have the little rubber things so you know which lock is for which one.
No.
I have to try the key in each one of them.
They're all skeleton keys, too. All of them. Each and every one.
I'm going to have to send you this picture because I was at a store once that was selling clothing cheap because it was imperfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the imperfect items that I grabbed was a pair of button fly jeans. Look, already an imperfection.
Yeah.
I go into the changing room to put them on. They're my size. I like this style. I go in the changing room to put these jeans on. Do you know what the imperfection on these jeans was?
No, what?
They were missing all of the fly buttons. And I was like, if you don't discount these jeans down to $1, who is going to buy jeans that do not, I mean, unless you are a seamster or seamstress.
Yeah.
That I understand.
Finally, a use for that jar of buttons I have on my dresser. I can fix these pants up right quick. Just rip them apart and put a zipper on there.
Oh,
yeah. Psychopaths.
Yeah. It's the zipper, man. Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Aston, never defeated. Asked and answered.
Yeah. Let's go on to our final topic. And our final topic is, should we retire the subreddit? Or is this episode going to re-spark the subreddit? And then people that go on the Maximum Fun subreddit looking for other shows will see ours and go, what's that?
Here's what's great about the subreddit. It's a great community full of a group of dedicated community members who love to interact. They love to support the shows that they love. They will check out new shows, which is really cool. And early on, it was fun to put something in and get a bunch of subjects, but it requires us to go get them. We have to start a thread.
Yeah.
As opposed to having them come to, like, Twitter, they can add us, they can send us an email.
The topics just come to us. So the downside is it's work.
I'll put it this way. This is going to be like getting a puppy. We can have the subreddit, Mark, but you're going to have to clean up after it. You're going to have to walk it, and you're going to have to feed it.
I really want to tell a story that you don't want me to tell.
Please don't.
Yeah. Can you even imagine?
Yeah. It's not as much fun as you might think all the time. Do you want to take responsibility for the subreddit and starting new topics on there?
No.
Then it's gone.
Yeah. Sorry. Asked and answered, but asked by us, answered by us.
Yeah.
We are officially no longer going to use the subreddit that we've never used.
After 5.5 years of doing this podcast.
Wow.
And telling you to visit the Maximum Fun subreddit for most of them. I think we started maybe 4 or 5 months in, we were on the Maximum Fun network. We are no longer going to tell you to do that. You now have 3 ways to get in touch with us and give us topics for the show. We have many of them still yet to cover, even with all the ones we retired here.
That's right. All of these topics are closed, but there are many more topics to discuss. This feels so weird saying it like this, Hal. So please reach out to us on Twitter.
Or you can email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com, or go to the Facebook group and tell us the subreddits you're active on. That's facebook.com/groups/WeGotThisPodcast. Thank you to producer Ken Plume, researcher Kate McManus, graphic designer Uri Kelman, and QA engineer Jen Alba.
And thanks, of course, to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thanks to you, the people of the world, especially the people of the world who 4 years ago sent us topics on the subreddit that we are just now getting to.
Hey, we got there.
You have our apologies and our thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
And for Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody. We got this.
We got this.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned. Audience supported.